We are zeroing in on the Vancouver Canucks, and what an interesting season it was for the Vancouver Canucks. They start just terribly under Travis Green. They let him go. Bruce, there it is, happens. And look at that, a 649 points percentage since they made the coaching change back on December 5th. It looked like, there's some positive things going on there. They got Jim Rutherford as their POHO now. They got Patrick Alvin as the GM. They're looking to maybe take that next step, get back into the playoffs. And while the end of the season was encouraging, the vibe I'm kind of getting from reading the reports out of Vancouver is that Jim Rutherford, I heard the term country club is how he described the locker room, or how some reports described the locker room. Sounds like they want to make some big changes. And I look at what they have going on there. Horvat, Pettersson, Demko Hughes, they're probably safe. But is it fair to say, Mike, everyone else should maybe have a bag packed?
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, this is what Jim Rutherford does, man. He's a horse trader, and you don't take over an organization that's been struggling and just walks in and go, well, we got a new coach. I think we're good to go here. Like, that is not the case with the Vancouver Canucks. There's a reason why that team struggled for a while, and if you feel like the team isn't where you want it to be from a chemistry standpoint, you got to shake it up. Or maybe he's just saber rattling. Whatever Jim Rutherford's doing, he's trying to wake the players up here and trying to put them on blast and saying, we're not going to accept this. Now, let's not forget Patrick Alvin is also there as the general manager of the team. This is a two-headed monster running the club. We understand that. And you touched on the players who are probably not going anywhere. But, you could probably add Oliver Ekman-Larsson to that mix. He's got a full no move clause, man. Like, moving that deal, yeah, good luck, dude. Like, it's not going anywhere unless it's just not, okay? So if they're trying to change the makeup of that club, there's a couple players like Brock Besser, $7.5 million qualifying offer. Maybe he gets 1 year of that, and then you see from there. But you got to figure out long term. Horvat's up in a year. I mean, I don't think he's going anywhere as a captain, but look at Tyler Myers. I mean, $6 million defenseman, right-hand shot. That's got some value on the market. Is that somebody you'd be willing to move on a team that still needs defensive help? I don't know. So I think the biggest challenge for Rutherford and Alvin is to really round out that bottom six. And they've had the desire for sandpaper. Well, you got some sandpaper in Connor Garland, but they want cheap sandpaper. Okay, they don't want $2.5 million sandpaper. They don't want Beagle back. They don't want Roussel back. What they want is players from within their organization, and they're not coming. Look at Tanner Jeannot in Nashville. That's who Jim Rutherford wants, and it's not there. And that's why you have to draft and develop. So I think it'll be an interesting offseason, and I do expect the Canucks to take a swing. Okay, I'm not sure who it's going to be. I don't know if JT Miller will be the guy that'll be headed out the door with that contract, but I sure wouldn't want to lose him because I still think the Canucks are knocking on the door of playoffs, Tyler.
Yeah, and I mean the Pacific Division is going to be wide open again next year because it always is.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see how they can create cap space. We saw Jason Dickinson was on Frank's list of potential buyout candidates. But when I hear, okay, you got to add sandpaper, but also you want to change up the vibe of the locker room. To me, you can't do that just by like going out and signing Nick Delorier as a UFA, right? Like to me, if you want to both add sandpaper and change up the room, you got to make a big fundamental change to like your top six. And to me, that leads to maybe you do have to move on from a Besser. Miller, it would feel
Mm-hmm.
counterproductive to move on from him, but maybe if they're really trying to do that kind of culture shock thing, you do need to, kind of gulp and go, okay, we're moving on from a piece that maybe we like, but we think the benefits of a change are just greater.
If there's anybody who's ever been willing to take a swing, it's Jim Rutherford. He did it in
Yeah.
Carolina. He did it in Pittsburgh. Like, he's not afraid to go out and make the bold decision. So if there's any team to keep an eye on this summer for maybe the big hockey trade, it might be out west in Vancouver.